There came this moment where I'd been working on it for 7 months and it hadn't been tested at all, and the only thing left to do was go and like turn it on. I was terrified. Turned it on for a split second, and it started moving, and I was like, oh, it works, and I turned it off, and I walked around the block, and I came back, and I turned it on again, and I mean, I was sure it was going to break completely in like 10 or 15 minutes, and then it didn't break, and then it started working, and I was like, wow, this thing is cool. And yeah, I've been basically making various versions of the wave ever since. Maybe 10 years ago or so, I got really obsessed with a mechanical caterpillar, and I spent 3 years trying to make a sculpture that would walk in a wave-like form. And after a while, it was sort of a difficult project, and I kept thinking it would be easier if the caterpillar went like that instead of being cut in half by the ground. It was only half a wave. I was like, oh, it'd be so much easier if this caterpillar went all the way like that. And I had an artist residency in Spain where they were sort of out in the wheat field a lot, and there was all this wind and all this light, and I started wishing I was making something that was sort of more light and more buoyant and more kind of free than this mechanical caterpillar. And I moved into this shop and had all this airspace and these beams. I thought it would fit nicely in the space, and so that it kind of seemed like the right proportion for the space. I had a decent idea where I was going with it, and again, I was sitting in my yellow chair for a considerable amount of time looking around, and I'll see some sort of pattern in the water, in the grass, or in a flag, and be like, oh man, it's beautiful, and then it'll sort of sit in my head for years until they kind of like mush out into some sort of form of a sculpture. Well, I love math, first of all, and in my favorite math class ever was geometry. And I love the constructions where you had the straight edge and a compass, and you do all kinds of things, inscribe circles and bisect angles and all these great things. And so these are sort of geometric constructions with moving parts. Every sort of wave has its own kind of mathematical logic. And so, this one has 5 waves coming out, and it has 30 sections along here. They all have their sort of own kind of set of numbers. And so when I'm involved with that project, I have this whole chain of numbers that I'm working with and keeping track of. And then the next one has a different set of numbers, and so I have absolutely no idea. I'd have to sit here and count them now too. Waves are super ubiquitous. We see waves, absolutely everywhere, from water to, they're in electronics, they're sort of in music, they're in light, they're sort of everywhere. And so it kind of makes sense that a simple wave is something that we kind of understand on a, kind of a deep level. If you copy just the teeniest part of nature correctly, then you're going to have a beautiful work of art. It doesn't take much.